one of the lands he wants to open with. See, look, we've got the full-on Esper colors already.
Crumbling Necropolis Plains. And he feels like he's going to have to use this Narcolepsy on Savannah
I mean,
Lions.
I was reading that lions can sleep 18 hours a day, so we're going to see that in action right now.
Here's Imposing Sovereign, normally quite good in creature-based matchups, but in this one, it's just going to be a 2-power because Bing Luke doesn't have that many creatures.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the ability is not all that awesome, but I think it's just a 2-power creature, which is what Hannes wants.
All right, so pretty sweet start here for Bing, right? I mean, he's got the Maze of Ith going. He's got Everflowing Chalice. Here's a Mirror Entity, though.
Yeah, I mean, Hannes had the 1/2/3 drop, but Bing did have on the play turn 2 removal, turn 3 removal, plus an accelerant. If this is, well, I was going to say Basalt Moth, that'd be awesome, but Seagate Oracle is pretty good here, even though it does get tapped down by the Imposing Sovereign. But Bing looks like he missed a land drop.
He did.
So given that, I mean, that's problematic. His deck does not have very many spells he can cast, even with the mana he's got available.
Yeah. Now we do see that Hannes did not fire off Armageddon in the main phase here.
Well, Hannes
would he do that?
I mean, he would do it before attacking, certainly if he had it because of Maze of Ith, but
it does leave Seagate Oracle against Imposing Sovereign and Mirror Entity.
Yeah, I think blowing up all your lands in order to kill them with a 1/1 and a 2/1 into a 1/3 is just not going to happen.
It's not going to work, no. Yeah. So he probably wouldn't fire it off anyway.
Yeah.
Here's Night's Whisper from Bing, desperate to hit land drops, and he does.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I mean, Bing needed a way to ramp into something. Heliod's actually another big threat for Hannes here. I mean,
is.
Bing can't wrath it away. I don't even think Bing can deal with it in general.
Right.
So even though making
he can Karn it.
Yeah, Karn actually is good.
Yeah.
I mean, Karn is, I guess, the safety valve always.
Did you say Karn is good? Can I get one back? Karn is good.
Well, it is a 7-drop.
Yes, it's true.
So Hannes plays his 5th land here, which indicates he's not planning on casting again anytime soon. Though he does have a Mirror Entity out, so I suppose just threatening to deal, 10 damage here minus the Maze is a reason to play the 5th land. But
he's going to force a chump block here.
Yeah, Bing can still Maze the Mirror Entity and just take 5 if he wants, which it looks like he may be doing. Nope, it looks like he's just going to take nothing. I would lean towards there being a Wrath coming this turn if Bing is chump blocking here.
Okay, he has a 2nd white mana source here.
Yeah, so it looks like a Day of Judgment or a Wrath of God is one of the more likely sequences, leaving the Crumbling Necropolis up.
And there it goes. Wrath of God wipes the board, except for, of course, Heliod is still there.
But it's not the best threat with Armageddon. So Hannes is going to have to either commit more to the board or wait a couple turns to get a couple 2/1s into play.
Right.
I mean, it does.
It's a nice spot for Hannes, though, right? I mean,
yeah, this does overwhelm all of Bing's threats except for Karn. I mean, even a Grave Titan eventually falls to Heliod. Though I suppose you can attack with Grave Titan and maze it if it gets triple blocked.
Yeah, it's true.
Getting some free zombies, but.
Yeah. All right, and it looks like Hannes is going to go on the make 2/1s with Heliod plan here as he just ships the turn back. So this game, it looks like we're going to settle in for a bit of a longer affair here. There's Basalt Monolith for Bing Luke just to continue to develop his board, but doesn't have any action spell this turn. And there's the 2/1 Cleric from Heliod.
Oh, I've never seen the actual Cleric token.
Yeah, it looks sweet.
Yeah, it does look pretty cool. Wasteland.
Ooh,
Wasteland is a good way to fight Maze of Ith.
No kidding. And I believe that's exactly what he's going to do. Yep, there it goes.
Smashing for 2. I mean, Bing's still at 15 here, so Bing is not under a ton of pressure. It is unfortunate that without the Maze of Ith, if Bing does play a Karn, then it can't survive Heliod's Priest attacking it the next turn.
That's right.
But Hannes is not doing all that much here.
It is slowly getting worse and worse for Bing, though, as now Hannes...
Yeah, once he has 7 lands out, he's only 1 land away from double clericking, and then Bing actually is going to be in trouble.
Right. Interestingly, it looks like Hannes is... Oh, here's a Doomblade for a cleric.
Interesting.
So Bing aggressively protecting his life total here. And there's a Spectral Procession now.
Which I imagine Hannes waited to cast until he had 7 mana, just so he doesn't give up making a priest.
I see.
I mean, getting an extra cleric off Heliod is worth waiting a turn. So
it's also similar. I mean, it's 2 power versus 3, but it doesn't cost you a card. And Bing has just passed the turn back, so now Hannes has made a 2nd cleric, and all of a sudden he's got 7 power on the board and a 2-turn clock coming in now. The Pristine Talisman throws that math off by a turn, but still, Hannes, especially if he hits his land, can make 2 clerics and represent lethal next turn.
Yeah, and Bing is going to need something pretty good to get out of this. Again, he doesn't have a ton of ways to deal with Heliod, and even if he just plays Karn and trades it for Heliod here, he still has to then also have a Wrath.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Bing has a lot of mana. He's actually got enough mana that he could play Karn and then Wrath in the same turn. That would be, unfortunately for him, it looks like he's Wrathing first. I mean, which indicates he doesn't have the Karn.
Right.
If he was able to Karn Heliod, in response, Hannes makes a cleric and then Wrath it all away, I think Bing would actually be in really good shape.
Yeah.
But that requires him having those exact 2 cards.
He's got all his dust.
Oh, all his dust, right. Yes,
wow.
that is actually very,
that
very
does
good.
it, yes.
So never mind, he had the perfect card.
Right. I forgot about the all his dust. Each player sacrifices all colored permanents he or she controls. So that is one way to get rid of Heliod. You make the player sacrifice it, and Indestructible doesn't matter. Here's an Aven Mind Sensor on end step. So Hannes still has some action here.
Yeah, the Mind Sensor is actually going to be a reasonable threat given that Bing's at 9. But Pristine Talisman helps negate that a little bit. Hannes is still not in the best place to cast Armageddon, but if he had it, I wouldn't be surprised if he had a creature also, that he would want to cast it. But
and he does. He has a Student of Warfare, and it looks like he's going to dump his mana into leveling up the Student here. So he can get it to double strike range the next turn, and Bing says...
In true Magic Online fashion, untap Basalt Monolith F6.
Yep. Like once he figured out what was going on. All right.
Oh, Bing is now in a spot where Wrath is going to be good for him again. I mean, if you look at the spells he's played so far, this is part of the reason that his deck's built the way it is. Like it does fight against creature decks fairly well.
But he also needs it like immediately.
Yes,
like Student's going to be a 4/4
lethal
double
by
strike.
itself.
Yeah, so even through Pristine Talisman. So Bing must come up with something here. He has Hannes Kerem down to 1 card in hand, so if he can manage to deal with this board state, he can put himself in a position to go into the long game
Bing
here.
has 4 cards in hand and didn't play a land. I wonder if Bing has a Venser in his hand or another double blue card that he can't cast, like Dismiss.
That could be.
So it looks like we're Johnnying up the Mind Sensor to diversify the threats, which I like.
Yep. Attacking. This is a lethal attack. What does Bing have? Is this Bant Charm?
It looks like it could be Bant Charm on the Student of Warfare, no?
No,
he's tapping a lot of mana.
He certainly is. Okay, it is Bant Charm.
Is Bant Charm leaving mana up? I would imagine putting the Student of Warfare on the bottom, and then taking 3. All right.
So he gets an untap step here. He's at 5.
He is technically dead to a Johnny giving a Avid Mind Sensor double strike here.
Yes.
Which I imagine Hannes goes for.
He does indeed.
Yeah, so Bing didn't have an answer last turn and had a ton of mana, so it looks like, Bing is out.
All right, so Bing loses the first game to Hannes Kerem. Hannes with his mono white list, I like how the threats are diverse as well. He had Heliod, which has a planeswalker-like feel in the late game where it's an awkward angle to hit that isn't an actual creature, and then he followed it up with a Johnny, which did the same. Which had a similar effect on the game where it's like, sure, Bing might be able to draw his Doomblades or his Wraths, but he still has to deal with a Johnny. Why don't we head over to the red zone where Randy has been keeping an eye on some of our other games?
I have been, and we've been talking about these mono red decks. We've been talking about, is Porphyros actually good? I want to show you this replay. This is Ansi Alkio versus Gabriel Rosagner. Gabriel drafted kind of the Reanimator deck. Ansi is on the mono red that we've been talking about. So I'm going to hit play on this game. I'm just going to watch the whole game. It should go pretty quick. Goblin go, well, not because the red deck is a blowout, but because of just these guys start throwing haymakers. You see Gabriel duresses away a Red Blast. Lightning Mauler comes down. So a couple of hasty guys. This is kind of right the way that Red wants to draw it up. But Gabriel's not done. He's not just going to roll over to this. Blade Splicer puts a 3/3 first striker into play, right? So it seems like maybe you're stable and the creatures don't attack. Seems like, oh, now here's the Porphyros, right? I've done my foreshadowing business. Gabriel has Entomb for Angel of Serenity is what he just put into the graveyard. Angel of Serenity comes back. Down go all the red creatures. Now Gabriel's winning this, right? What does Porphyros do from this position? You're not about to turn him on. Here's what he does.
Siege Gang.
Siege Gang Commander puts 4 creatures into play. All those trigger Porphyros.
Oh, no.
All of a sudden, Gabriel's life total drops all the way to 6, and he tanks on this turn, and he tanks, and then he concedes. He's just dead to Siege Gang throwing over all the goblins at this point.
Wow.
And so Ansi Akio wins that match. That was game 2. He'd already run at game 1. So Ansi Akio now up a match. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Randy, from the red zone there. So
I like
a pretty
everything
savage
about that
beating.
except for the 2 forests on Ansiakio's side of the board.
So our main feature match is just underway again. And, yeah, we can go back down there.
And it looks like Bing did mulligan to 6 here.
Okay, so Bing's on 6, so we'll keep that in mind. Hannes, obviously his deck a lot more consistent than Bing Luke's. It's going to have similar starts game after game, where Bing is going to have his games are going to be played out in pretty significantly in different ways. Here's a Student of Warfare from Hannes.
Yeah, the fact that Hannes does have a Johnny and Heliod does make this matchup a lot worse for Bing. I mean, he does, like you're saying, have a bunch of Planeswalkers and Planeswalker-type effects. And those fight against Wrath fairly effectively.
Yeah.
Even like Avid Mind Sensor, the fact that it was an instant means it didn't get hit by the All His Dust.
Right.
And immediately did, a couple extra points of damage, which is how Hannes was able to clock Bing before he drew something big.
Right. All right, here's Night's Whisper from Bing Luke. So this is going to help unmulligan him, but it is going to cost him a couple of life and basically that turn worth of mana. So here's Imposing Sovereign. So again, a similar start to what we saw in the first game. Student of Warfare gets in there for 1, and Hannes passes a turn back to Bing. So Bing, this is the tough part for him, right? Like his ideal turn here is like Basalt Monolith, I guess, some type of ramping spell, and that doesn't really affect the board in a meaningful way. And there it is, Palladium
Tapped
Mirror.
Palladium Mirror.
Yeah.
Though, I mean, Hannes doesn't have an insanely fast start. He's not going to. I mean, this isn't a mono red deck.
There's a Wasteland to take down Bayou.
Well,
and there's an Oust.
Oh, jeez, that is
no.
brutal. Oust is the funny thing is Hannes doesn't know it, so he wouldn't have a reason to side it up. But Oust is so bad against Bing. Bing has like 4 creatures in his deck.
Oh yeah.
One's a Venser and one's a Seagate Oracle.
Yeah.
But it was actually the perfect card here.
Oh, that's so ridiculous.
That's all is pretty brutal.
Oh man. So Oust right on time to get rid of Palladium Mirror.
And now Bing can shuffle away the Palladium Mirror.
He can.
But yeah, this is tough. I mean, the fact that Bing did have to play the Bayou for the Bant Charm and then got Wasteland, that is one of the costs of playing Bant Charm in your deck. I mean, Wasteland is just 1 card, but it is relevant here.
All right, and Bing, I think he's got a 3-drop here or something because he's shuffling and he plays a Mox Diamond, getting rid of a Swamp.
So actually,
is this a Wrath? It is Day of Judgment.
Huh? That actually looked like it worked out not that poorly for Bing. I mean, he only has 2 cards left.
Jeez, disenchant your Mox Diamond, but still, Bing Luke is hitting every land drop. It looks like he had kind of a floody draw, and there's a sword with no creature, so Bing is stable here.
Yeah, Bing chose not to reveal a Tree Folk to keep Murmuring Bosk untapped, but other than that, yeah, it looks like Hannes is just on all lands here.
I see. Yeah, so that's and that's Bing Luke's handed right in time here. He draws a Karn. He can cast it, right?
Yeah.
Wow. So Karn Daddy hitting the table here. Does he just take out the sword immediately?
No, I imagine you plus it. Yeah.
You just start plussing?
Yeah, because first of all, you don't know what Hannes has in hand.
Okay.
He could have like an answer of some kind. Second of all, if Hannes does play a threat, now you can plus or minus Karn.
And you have a huge cushion there for Karn too with his loyalty.
You also want to get it up to maybe you can restart the game here. So I think Bing's actually in pretty good shape. Well, Bing has 2 answers right now. He can play Maze of Ith and Narcolepsy. I don't think you want to lean on just Maze if you were to play it, just because Armageddon would just completely wreck you there.
Yeah. Maze of Ith very, very good against the equipment that's in the cube as well.
Yeah, and Hannes now on no cards in hand. Bing with sitting there with a castable Bant Charm plus a Narcolepsy plus a Maze of Ith. So Bing's actually in really good shape.
Yeah,
here.
He's in super good shape here. What are the kind of cards that we could see from Hannes that can get him out of this mess?
He's got 8 lands, so he can play Heliod and make a Priest, but it's going to be tough. I mean, I think the fact that Bing has a Karn on 11 and 2 removal spells, like at this point, Bing can just sit there and start, exiling what's in play, and then he's even got a Grave Titan.
He does. He didn't play it though, huh?
So it looks like he's waiting on Grave Titan maybe till Hannes has nothing going on and he can just play it. I guess
That would be now.
Yeah, I guess I would have been inclined just to play it. Maybe he's worried about like having to wrath it away. Maybe he wants to leave Bant Charm up. I think that's probably it. He wants to leave Bant Charm up so Hannes maybe doesn't draw and play Mind Sensor. But I guess Hannes had no cards in hand, so that wouldn't have been stopped either.
Yeah, he's going to fire off Grave Titan now. Now that Hannes has 0 cards in hand, sure, he's got a sword and a cleric, but that doesn't do anything interactively with Grave Titan.
Yeah, and there's
plus
a Maze of It too,
right? So he's got plans on plans, and you can see Bing Luke, big sigh of relief up there in the upper left-hand side of your screen. So he peeled a win there, and we're going to get a game 3 with Hannes Kerem versus Bing Luke here.
Yeah, and the fact that Bing, got hit by the Oust and a Disenchant and a Wasteland and still just like rolled out all his spells was pretty impressive there.
Yeah, really impressive. I mean, it feels like we didn't get a chance to see his opening hand, but he must have just had a ton of lands in hand and been like, okay, sure.
Yeah, I mean, when you're on 6, like you're not pitching that.
Right, and he hit, I mean, basically every land drop.
Yeah, and the Night's Whisper, I'm sure, helped too.
Yeah, it's true.
And if Bing is lucky, Hannes leaves in Oust because it was good that game, and then draws it, and then Bing doesn't have a creature.
See, and that's the best part, right? Because you were just saying, like, sometimes it happens that it just hit the exact target at the right time, but that can also backfire on you.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, that'll be interesting to see if Hannes, how much attention he paid. I mean, because that had to feel really good, but he also probably looked at the rest and said, well, there wasn't a whole lot going on there for Oust. So
yeah.
We'll see if he next levels him and pulls the Oust. But in the meantime, the players are sideboarding. And once they're done, we will have this match for you.
Or it looks like they may have hopped in the game already.
Doesn't say so.
There's not a ton that I think Bing can sideboard. He's already built a pretty aggressively anti-creature, so
yeah,
I don't think that he's going to change much. Hannes might end up siding a couple things though.
Yeah, the game's not showing up for me quite yet, but I am attempting to get in there.
Well, luckily these decks aren't fast enough that
I've got it up in the red zone if you guys want to watch.
Yeah,
on my
why don't you pull it up over there because I cannot see it, and we can just bring it up. We'll just commentate on it from our screen up there.
All right. Looks like Hannes had a pretty fast start.
Spectral Possession.
Yeah, yes. Curved an Aether Vial into Common Vanquish into Spectral Procession, which is actually a good way to fight Maze of Ith since throwing a bunch of tokens at Bing is going to do a lot more damage. And it looks like Bing is missing land drops here. No, I suppose he has not missed his land drop this turn unless he passes back.
Yeah, this is his turn 4.
But he eventually had to because of Maze of Ith. I mean, playing a Maze of Ith is something he probably had to do, but it does essentially miss your land drop. And if this is an Armageddon.
No, this is an end step Restoration Angel.
Followed potentially by an Armageddon, which Bing is not going to be able to counter. And Hannes even has the Aether Vial to put something in play. Yeah, this is kind of a route.
If he's got the Geddon, this game's over.
I think this game pretty close to over without the Geddon.
You might be right.
I mean, Bing obviously if he hits 4 mana he can Wrath, but he's only got 2 right now, and doesn't have a ton of time. He's taking 7 a turn. So if Hannes has 1 more creature, he kills Bing before Bing can Wrath.
And Bing did miss a land drop that turn.
Yeah. So we know Bing doesn't have a land in hand. I guess Bing could have a Doomblade since it wouldn't have made that much sense to cast it last turn, whereas this turn it does save you a couple points of damage. Well, if he's on top of the Restoration, he does not have Doomblade, so...
Takes 7.
Well, that creature represents lethal if Bing does not do anything this turn. And there we have it.
There you go.
All right, right when I got back in there, it ended. Thanks, Randy.
Sure.
And the players are up. So... I think they're just logging out, but you can see there that Hannes Kerem's deck with its really a linear game plan, right? I mean, it did the same thing basically all 3 games there.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Hannes won the match without casting a single Armageddon, though.
Yeah, that was weird.
I would have thought that one of the games he was probably going to do it that way. I mean, game 3, Hannes had 1, 2, 3, 4 drops into Bing's missed 4th land drop.
Right.
So
not a lot you can do there anyway. Yeah, so we saw that. Do you think that Hannes' deck pretty capable of 3-0 in the cube? His rounds?
I mean, it's got Sword of War and Peace. It's got 2 Armageddons, and it's got Randy waving at us to hit the red zone.
All right, so Randy's got some updates from the red zone. Let's send it over there.
Sure, just poking in on other matches. If there's a match going, we can get it to you guys. So I want to get down to this. It's David Kaufman playing the mono red deck against Seth Manfield, the 2-time GP champion, who's got the sort of blue, white, red control deck we were talking about. So I'm pretty sure this is game 3. There's the game. I'm pretty sure this is game 3, and David has not come out to the fastest of starts here. Firedrinker Satyr into not a whole lot.
And Seth's still at 18, it looks like, which is not really where you want to be when the red deck wants you to be when you're casting Tidings.
Yeah, no, this is looking very good for Seth Manfield. Must have been a mulligan, actually. I only see 9 permanents from David. Right, 4 cards in hand, 5 lands, and a Firedrinker Satyr. But Thundermaw Hellkite might be able to change things up. Crunch into the red zone.
Yeah, I mean, even in a game this late, the red deck is not that unhappy if it's Thundermaw is one of the few cards that can actually get it back into the game here.
Not if it can't attack or block, though. Faith's Fetters deals with that threat. And the life gain from Faith's Fetters is very relevant. It's a surprisingly good pacifism for the fact that it costs 4. Always feels good when it resolves. Seth is going to give David a taste of his own medicine. I'm going to attack with red flyers. Take Chandra's Phoenix.
Chandra's Phoenix, interesting inclusion for Seth. It's
a
tough permanent to deal with. Doesn't fit with the rest of what he's got going on.
No, it kind of does, though. He's got stuff like Electrolyze. Like, he's got ways to recurse it.
This is the best blocking Chandra's Phoenix I've ever seen.
Yes.
He's blue out red control.
Yes.
He wants to chump with it, then electrolyze his opponent, get it back. Even that Celestial Colonnade is going to be a pretty big threat here. I mean, Seth Manfield's still at 17. He's got a Chandra's Phoenix that can block Ember Hauler and, represents implied value later in the game. I think this is going to be a tough one for David to win here. I mean, he's got only 2 cards in hand versus Seth's 5, about to be 6 after a Ponder. Ponder into a fetch land. That's a combination.
Also gives him the ability to fire up that Colonnade right now.
Though if he does that, that indicates his hand is maybe not insane. So it'll be interesting to see if that's where we're going.
There it is. But he's going to leave back the
Yeah, this looks fine.
Chandra's
Send over
blocker.
the Colonnade, leave Chandra on defense. What I mean,
Yeah, I like it.
he's mildly vulnerable to haste creatures, I guess.
But he's at such high life, and all David did last turn was cast Ember Hauler with 7 or 8 mountains in play. So
Yeah, this is definitely a flooded out draw. Oh my.
What does that do here? 3, 4, 5. It gets in for 7.
yeah, it does a solid 7 damage.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll change the math. Because Seth had his opponent on a 2-turn clock after that last play, but... Ooh, what do we have, a path or a plow? A path to exile. Though he does have to use it on just a 3/3, but still.
Still.
Keeping your life total high is
Yeah, seems completely correct. And now you send with both to try to threaten lethal next turn?
Yeah.
it forces the Ember Hauler. Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, Ember Hauler will have to pop off the Phoenix, but that's fine. That means he didn't hit Seth.
Right,
Yeah.
and now you have your mono red opponent on 1 card in hand, 2 after his draw step, and you're sitting at 12 life with being ahead on board, so...
And then, eventually you'll draw an Electrolyze and get your Chandra's Phoenix back too. Though the Colonnade probably even just finishes the game by then.
Yeah, the specific Electrolyze is actually in his yard.
But he's got more than
He's
that.
got plenty.
He's got Chain Lightning as well.
Exactly.
And
I think he's got the Bolt.
all the cards you would want in a red, white, blue deck, actually.
He's going to play conservative. Just the Colonnade. He's content with the 3-turn clock and the Defender.
Well, if he has another threat here, then this might actually still represent a 2-turn clock.
Yeah, any burn spell basically as well.
Huh. Given the Porcelain Legionnaire, I think I might have sent the Phoenix there.
Yeah.
There's not a ton that goes wrong. I mean, David is going to have to like have a good card in hand and then draw another good card, which I guess could happen. Maybe you're far enough
I mean,
ahead.
what goes wrong with giving him a turn?
Yeah. A 10th mountain.
A 10th, yeah.
Nug you for 2, Hellfire you. Meanwhile, Marshall's cruising another game, and I see 2 Mold Drifters attacking, one with the Umezawa's GTA on it.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, we'll get back to you guys momentarily, it sounds like. Devil's Play.
Well, that was an X-Spell coming from the other
I was
side of the
expecting
table.
Kaufman to play the X-Spell, but no, Seth Manfield. Devil's Play for the win, and that was game 3. So Seth Manfield wins the match.
All right, so we're back.
Who are you guys watching?
So we're watching Lars Dom. He is playing against Valeriano Villanueva, and yeah, you summed that one up pretty nicely, Luis. We've got double Mole Drifter battling, and one of them has a Jitte with 2 counters on it, with Villanueva sitting at 7.
Yeah, and I assume the Mold Drifter got cloned in some way by like a Phyrexian Metamorph or something along those lines. But yeah, the double Mold Drifter, Sakashima's student.
Oh, no! That is brutal. And we come in right in time for the victory here as
I feel
Lars
like if you
Dom
attack with 2
wins.
Mold Drifters, you should just get awarded the victory.
I agree. In cube.
Yeah. No, actually just in general.
In general?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. All right, let's head back over to Randy in the red zone. He's got another match queued up for us.
Yeah, I've got it's a replay queued up for a match that game 2 between Thomas Glied and Bruno Diaz, and there are some haymakers. I'm just gonna hit play, let you guys see what's going on. There were some stuff going on in this game. And game 1, I'm hoping I can still make the replay for that one work. Here you see Bruno is kind of on the Reanimator deck. So he's Vampiric Tutor into Dark Ritual for Liliana. Down goes a Masticore and a Kakusho.
And this is the Reanimator deck we took a look at earlier.
Yes, it is. So Liliana is putting stuff into the graveyard. He's done a Vampiric Tutor. Now there's an Aetherling in the graveyard. But Tomas keeps fighting. So Animate Dead brings Kakushu back out. Not bad for turn 3 or turn 4. But Pattern of Rebirth, if that Hierarch ever dies, Tomas is going to be able to search his deck for whatever he wants to put into play. Sort of a taste of his own medicine. And now here comes Chandra. Chandra pings the Noble Hierarch. So
Wow.
Chandra, which triggers with the Pattern of Rebirth, which brings out Terastodon.
This is sweet.
Yes. So Terastodon takes out, what, Liliana and Kakusho, right?
Yeah,
I can slow it down a
kills
little bit.
Kills the Animate Dead to knock Kakusho out.
Precisely. And then also takes out Liliana. Now, Tomas does get a couple of elephants, and now we're in this, like, weird sort of almost stalemate, although Chandra's still ticking up.
Stalemate, except there's a 9/9 attacking in return.
So Snapcaster flashes back Vampiric Tutor. Maze makes the elephants. Oh, here's Aetherling into play off of Reanimate.
So he's going to try to 2-turn clock him, and
That's the plan.
But Mazavith is actually a very good answer to Aetherling.
yes,
True.
it
Aetherling
is.
gets through almost anything, but not a Mazavith. And
you know what else
I
is
don't
good?
actually know what just
Ultimate
happened there.
Chandra. That was Chandra's ultimate.
That was Chandra's ultimate
yes,
to-
Chandra's
to-
ultimate.
to end the game.
6 damage
for 6.
Yeah.
to end the game.
Okay. Yeah, that was sweet. I got another
Crazy
match
stuff.
going over here, though. It looks
sweet.
somewhat like the one we last popped in on, where right when we come in, we have Andre. He's sitting with Archangel of Thune.
My favorite
And
card.
friends.
My recent favorite card.
Oh, is that your recent favorite?
Well, I played it in Richmond in my Meluropod deck, then I played it in Esper in Cincinnati. So
Interesting crossover
it's
there.
Sam Party's favorite card too.
Okay, well, good. And we have a Teferi kind of holding down the fort on the other end. It looks like Paul Nemeth is
Holding on the fort's
Grixis.
optimistic.
Yeah.
There's an Archangel attacking you.
right. It's also lethal next turn, so we're going to need a pretty sweet spell here from Paul to be able to stabilize here. He's way behind. Honor of the Pure. There's a Flame Tongue Kavu.
Which can't kill.
A couple of turns late, perhaps.
Yeah.
He remands his own Kavu.
That's not the sequence of plays that you start a winning turn
That-
off of. I mean, it's a
yeah.
good play if he's got no outs,
Yes.
then he's got to do it. But it's
Yeah.
not what you want to be doing.
No, he could find something like Damnation here. Is Toxic Deluge in this cube? It was in the powered
It was in the
cube.
powered cube. I don't know if it's in this one. But even if he had it, Celestial Colonnade still probably ends up winning Andre the game.
Yeah.
So Celestial Colonnade is a nice one.
It's also a 5/5 here. Yeah. So it looks like
It's about to be a 6/6 because of the Archangel.
yes. And everybody into the red zone here.
Yeah, this looks like it's going to be tough. I mean, Archangel of Thune wins again. So you can block, and boom.
And that's going to do it. So Andre wins the match. That was a game 3 there. So winding down our first match of Cube here, we've seen kind of a lot of the things that we expect from Cube these days, which are, exciting Planeswalkers ultimating, linear decks, maybe some mono red flying around. But great stuff. And we're going to be still bringing you 2 more rounds of Cube as well.
Right. Yeah, we saw even Reanimator, one of the archetypes we talked about. We saw a little bit of a green ramp deck there actually defeat Reanimator. But we didn't see a ton of blue-based control do all that well. I mean, that we just saw Teferi lose there.
Yes.
We saw Bing, who was not really blue-based control, but he's Esper control. And we saw him lose to White Weenie. So it'll be interesting to see. It looks like all the aggressive decks are just progressing here.
And do you think that that's a result of the fact that blue's so popular that it ends up getting pretty diluted, where nobody has like a proper blue-based control deck? It's sort of the pickings from what's left.
That can definitely happen. I mean, Bing opened, Jace Bellerin, Glenlund, Archmage, and Master of Waves.
Right.
And those probably went fairly soon, all 3 of those cards, which is tough for especially the guy taking the Master of Waves.
Right.
But we did, on the other hand, see Seth Mansfield win with blue-red-white control, and that was a control deck.
Yeah, that's true. All right, I'm going to see if I can pull up perhaps another game here. I don't know.
All right, looks like Randy's actually got one ready for us, so we can head over to the red zone.
Good.
Yeah, I'm watching the match between Dmitry Budakov, the defending champion, and he's playing against Corey Lack. So it's land tax on Dmitry Budakov's side of the board, and he's just summoned a mere Battlesphere. His opponent, also kind of a Bant creature deck, Voice of Resurgence, Lodestone Golem, Eternal Witness, sort of heading over. But Wall of Reverence is helping to keep Dmitry alive. Enclave Cryptologist is sort of looting for power.
I like the look of Dimitri's deck.
Yeah, I do too. Enclave Cryptologist with land tax sounds like a lot of fun if you're actually taxing, but he's got more lands. No surprise.
Well, he's going to be able to level up the Enclave Cryptologist too pretty soon here.
Yep.
Yeah, the land tax is going to be awesome there one way or the other. Corey did play Deep Analysis last turn. He may be flashing back a Deep Analysis here.
But Bant control.
Ooh, Nevinyrral's Disc.
Hello.
And that might just be a mere Battlesphere, but that's still pretty big.
I have to say I like Wall of Reverence, mere Battlesphere.
Yeah.
Good friends.
You smash in for 8, gain 8 life, nug him for 4.
That works.
Does indeed. Lodestone Golem is interesting. I mean, so what's going on with Corey's deck here? He's got like what looks like a Bant controlish deck with Lodestone Golem in it.
I mean, I feel like it's Bant aggro, Voice of Resurgence, Elf. I mean, it's Bant. It's Bant good stuff is basically what this is.
Because it has like Disc and Deep Analysis, which are not
certainly yeah, it's a good stuff deck. It's not. This isn't one of the sort of usual linear archetypes that we've seen a lot of people have success with in Cube. It feels like he got some good cards. He got into these colors, and here we are.
Whereas it looks like Budakov is more on the blue-white control miscalculation.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Sort of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, his graveyard is Miscalc, Condescend, Vidalcan Shackles,
nice.
Ratchet Bomb. This is a blue-white control deck like I love to draft.
Yeah, this one looks pretty good too.
It does.
Got 5 cards in hand too. It feels like Dimitri's in a little better shape, but I mean, it could be very easily turned on its side if Corey, let's say, discs and then plays. I was going to say Corey plays Jace, but if Dimitri's the one playing Jace, then Corey's now in a lot of trouble. And Nevinyrral's Disc does not blow up Planeswalkers because they were not around when the disc was made.
That's
Correct.
right.
Yeah, some of those effects say non-land permanent. Like I believe the Ratchet Bomb does get a Planeswalker because it says non-land permanent. But the disc hits artifacts, creatures, and enchantments.
Yeah, so
Wall of Reverence is going to trigger, gain some life. Yeah, Dimitri's deck looks awesome here.
Yeah, this deck looks great.
Defending champ. He knows what it's like to win one of these. Take advantage of coming back. Looks like Corey's going to dig. What does he do about Jace? He can't get to Jace with an attack.
The Battlesphere on the wall, or keeping him back all those mirror tokens.
Mm-hmm.
He can disc and hope it works.
He can disc.
Dimitri's
If he discs, he gets the voice token.
Yeah. End of turn disc, untap, play 2 more creatures.
Two
attack.
more creatures attack Jace.
Oh, funny.
Is this like another Planeswalker? Because that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, it is.
Tamio the Moon Sage qualifies.
What's he going to tap? Does he tap the disc?
He could force
yeah,
the
he
disc.
taps the disc. Is Corey going to respond by blowing it up?
Yes.
Yep.
Which seems right. I mean,
Yeah, it does.
he gets a voice token and it blows up all the other crap that's in their play. That
There's a lot.
Because Dimitri has a lot of stuff in play.
Right. So he has a 1/1. But he hasn't used Jace yet this turn, so he can get rid of it if he
just
wants.
bounces it, right?
Yeah,
I don't think he's used Jace this turn.
Yeah, unless he's got another creature in play. I
Right.
think.
If he had a blocker, he's going to +2 Jace.
I'm just assuming that what would be really funny now is if Corey was like played a deranged hermit or something
Yeah,
and
yeah.
just killed a planeswalker.
Who did he target with the +2? Because I mean, Corey has six cards in his hand right now.
I would
So
imagine
blanking his
still-
draw step's not really.
I would imagine still Corey.
He put the card on the bottom of the library.
Yeah, he targeted Corey. Yeah.
It's interesting. So he really just wanted to get the loyalty on it then.
And defend it from a elemental attack.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a woodland cemetery over there too, so it looks like Corey has other things going on.
Oh,
It's one way to make it bigger.
Speaking of other things going on, there's Mirari's Wake.
He's got fully 5 cards left in his hand.
Right.
Yeah. What if he just he's 1 mana short
Still
of
deranged, right?
casting Palinchron and going off? Mirari's Wake into Experiment 1 is not the play.
That wasn't it?
That levels up the elemental.
uh,
Is this going to be 2? Oh, Master of Waves makes 2 creatures.
No way.
Hilarious. Elemental is 5/5 and
So
can
he-
kill Jace the Mind Sculptor.
he did go
He
off.
actually did it. Now there
Wow.
is still a Tundra and a couple of planes up there, so he's got to get 4 cards for Dimitri. Yeah, so he's got to get this elemental token in there. But
Wow.
Uh-oh.
The
Oh,
dream,
no!
Celestial
Flare.
the dream is dead.
Wow.
what a beating!
It looks like Dimitri had it all planned out.
Yeah.
I do feel a lot better about the +2 on Jace if he has an answer to an attacking voice.
Yeah,
token.
definitely.
Agreed.
Now what? Oh, how about
Marshall coup.
Marshall coup? I have 6 guys. You have nothing.
What is that ominous Tundra doing up there on tap?
Yeah, I
still?
know.
Is that just the scariest?
Would you say that the card Dimitri just played is your favorite card, Marshall?
It's up there.
So Tamio locks down the Murmuring Bosk.
Followed by Mog War Marshall.
Jace continues to
Marshall
go up.
Yeah, this is getting pretty ugly pretty fast. I mean, Corey does have a lot of mana, but it looks like he's playing some sort of like mid-range aggro deck
Yeah.
with like
Yeah.
Experiment 1, Serendipity Freed, and I would be feeling a lot better if he was a control deck, given that he has 14 mana available.
Right.
If he's using some of that 14 mana to cast Serendipity Freed, then it's less good.
Yeah, Swords to Plowshares takes care of Serendib. Tamio. Yeah, you lock down the bird here.
Yeah, there's no reason not to.
It looks like Dimitri's just going into beatdown mode here. He just
Jace
wants to
just
get this
keeps
game
ticking
done.
up.
I want to see Corey play a Palinchron and get infinite mana and do something sweet with it. Because
It'd be tough.
Mirari's Wake Palinchron is a nice one.
It's going to be tough to get that through the Jace ability.
I mean, that's been the tough part here, right? I mean, he's played Mirari's Wake just sort of for value, where normally you want to do abusive things, right? Like, when my opponent plays Mirari's Wake, I live in fear of them untapping. I'm just like, oh, no. they're gonna
Capsize
do
with the
something
buyback.
stupid.
That's a little bit abusive.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
That's a thing. I mean, it's killing a soldier token, so that's
It's not great. It's not that abusive.
not the most powerful thing you can do with it. But
But he will be able to keep Planeswalkers off of ultimates
yeah,
here.
definitely.
Yeah, and he can play it, what, twice a turn? Or is he's almost to 3 times
He's
a
at
turn.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's got 8 mana, 8
So
lands
16.
right now.
Oh, Angel of Serenity.
Yeah, if Dimitri goes ahead and puts some of his own creatures under that, then Capsize is not one that wants to target it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You can also bounce it with Jace. You can
Oh, jeez.
Yes, he can.
disturb burial with buyback.
So he grabbed, he did not grab his own creatures. No, he got his own Wall of Reverence. What did he get?
Probably a mere battle sphere would be my guess as the
There's the wall. Yeah, okay, he
and
did.
then the bird from play.
Got it. Yeah, it was the bird from play that threw
Wow,
him.
and he can also use Tamio on himself, the -2 ability.
Yeah, I mean,
Draw a
if
card for each tapped
Dimitri
creature
has
target
12
player
cards left in
controls.
his deck. He probably doesn't need.
Oh, he's
to-
got 12? Okay.
Probably
yeah.
doesn't need to draw a million cards at this point.
Doesn't want to draw 7 right now?
Nah.
Fair enough.
So it looks like the angel did get capsized there.
Huh. So all those cards went back to...
The respective owner's hands.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's interesting. I mean, I guess the fact that Dimitri can just Jace the
He can do it
Arcade
himself.
Angel anyway means that you're not really losing much. And I think Corey wanted to cast the birds to block one of the soldier tokens because it's a 1/2 from the wake.
Right.
And he gets to capsize another one. Right, he can tap out to capsize here. Corey's also down to 355.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean, the clock is these games are timed matches. The clock is a part of playing competitive Magic on Magic Online.
I mean, I wish it could be in live Magic, and that's not feasible in any way, shape, or form.
Yes,
but
yes, live Magic would be better if it had the Magic Online clock.
like if there was a chess clock of some kind, exactly like just to keep things fair, that both players have exactly 30 minutes to make all their plays.
right.
But I think clock aside, I think Dimitri's well in command of this game. So I don't think that it's actually making anything happen that it wouldn't have already happened. Because, I mean, you cast a Battle Sphere, now you have 10 creatures in play.
Right. You can't capsize away those.
Yeah.
He's going to start with Jace, though.
Yeah, Jace got capsized, right?
He did.
In order to prevent any ultimate shenanigans.
Does he have, so he's actually a land short of the Battle Sphere, unless he has a land in his hand?
That's right.
Corey thinking about this? No.
I probably wouldn't be thinking too much when I have 318 on my
Yeah,
clock.
exactly. Bounces the birds to clear a path for the soldiers.
Though I'd be surprised if anyone made it here without.
Oh,
Man,
Baneslayer.
Dimitri's deck looks so good.
I love this deck. It's got more planes in it than my blue decks normally have, but they seem totally worth
I
it
mean,
with
for all good
Baneslayer,
cards and-
Celestial Fair, Martial Coup. Yeah,
Swords to Plowshares.
this deck looks awesome. He's got the sword and the path.
land
Wow.
tax.
This
like-
is the dream blue-white control.
Yeah, if you can get it, this is one of the best decks in the cube.
100% agree.
All right, here's Shardless Agent for Corey. And he's going to get a Fleece Mane Lion. So, yeah, he's very much just Bant stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bant animals.
Yeah, Bantamals. It's not... None of the thing is that he played Mirari's Wake, which is a huge play, and it stuck on the table, and he just hasn't really been able to maximize on it.
His cards just aren't as powerful as
They're just not
Dimitri's.
there, yeah.
I mean, capsize with buyback is pretty good, but even that's not enough.
Right.
Yeah, when you're using Mirari's Wake so you can cast multiple
Twos and threes, yeah.
turn. I mean, there are some things going on, but Dimitri's deck, just all the cards work together so much better. Like, if your opening hand, has Experiment 1 Capsize Mirari's Wake in it, it's like, what exactly are you doing?
Right.
Or like Master of Waves with not a ton of other blue permanents.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Dimitri, all his cards work together so well.
Here's
Oh,
that
remember
Angel
that angel?
Trinity. Yeah, it's back. Pact of
Now
Negation.
we see why Corey was thinking when he was tapped out.
Ah, it's true.
One thing Dimitri does not look like he has a ton of his condescended miscalculation, but
Yeah.
he doesn't have a ton of other counters. He also has Shackles in his deck too. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. I'm being told from the floor he's also holding a Sphinx's Revelation.
What? Are you serious?
He's literally out of cards to draw.
Yeah, he's at 10
Yeah.
cards, so he doesn't want to draw them. He wants turns. Make sure he's got enough turns to finish this off through the capsize. Send everybody here?
You get to the point where you can Jace Ultimate yourself to put your hand back on top of your deck, get you some more cards.
Nah.
Buy a few turns.
Yeah.
Tricky through a capsize, but
Yeah.
Right,
yeah,
block,
Bird
block,
is
block
going to
for
chump
Corey.
the Baneslayer.
I mean,
He's going to get through with 4 damage here, dropping Corey to 3.
yeah, this is going to be tough.
Yeah.
And Corey's got Capsize, but Dimitri's got a lot of threats, and I guess the Jace could potentially be going down this turn because there's a Shardless Agent and a Fleece Main line ready to go pounce.
Yeah. He went draw. He brainstormed.
He brainstormed, yeah.
I think he wanted a land to be able to add a blocker.
Well, Reverend still doesn't keep Jace alive here, but it does force Corey to attack with both his creatures, and then Dimitri has 5 attacks.
Yeah. No, if Corey attacks Jace, then doesn't he lose to the crackback?
He does.
He can't capsize all those soldier tokens.
No, he
Right.
needs, and he
Especially
has to pay
when
for
he
a
has to pay
pact.
for pact.
Yeah, which essentially costs him 6 mana since there's no
Right.
way to save the extra 1.
Right.
Can he use the extra for capsize here?
No, it's a 6.
yeah, it
still
does-
still doesn't get him to
doesn't-
where he needs to be.
Yeah,
Which is a full capsize. Like unless he has got a land. Right now he can only capsize once with
And
buyback.
even if Corey has a sweeper, we know that Dimitri has Mere Battlesphere in his hand already. So that's a good follow-up play there.
And the clock is definitely starting to get more pressing on Corey's side, because even if his plan is to somehow deal with this board state and try to deck Dimitri,
there's a difference between stabilizing and dealing the 27 damage he needs to deal to win.
Right.
Yeah, I think that Corey wouldn't be able to beat the clock, but I think Corey's actually just dead here anyway. I think he's just dead to lethal damage. He's got to burn Capsize just to bounce Baneslayer.
Yeah, that's the plan.
And then just still take lethal.
Right.
So I actually don't think the clock comes into play here at all.
Yep.
Especially with a Tameo.
Oh yeah, Fleece Maiden is not monstrous, so
it is
no hexproof. Here is the lethal attack from an awesome-looking blue-white control deck in the hands of our defending champion, Dmitry Budakov.
Yeah, it's got a lot of the tools you need to succeed here.
I've got a nice match pulled up that's, believe it or not, it's been going that whole entire time. When we first came in, it was kind of hard to see exactly where they were at. I saw a Mana War being resolved, so I was kind of happy about that. But they're battling here, though. It does look like we're nearing the end stages.
Longer,
I see a Sundering Titan on the battlefield here. We've got Rune Anderson versus Farhan Lee. And let's take a look at these.
And Farhan Lee's got an awesome modern deck, so once that comes up, we'll definitely have to take a look at how he's doing.
Oh, he's the one playing that deck?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I don't want to spoil it, but
no, we'll make sure to get that one for you guys for sure. And
we can watch it on my computer if that's a better view.
Well,
either way works.
Got it up on mine too.
Oh, jeez.
We've got to hurry before Sundering Titan finishes the game. At this point,
I see Elephants, I see Terracodons, I see Garrick, I see Awakening Zone now for Rune. So Rune actually did draft, though, the ramp deck that you mentioned in our pregame.
Yeah, and Farhan Lee does not have any lands in play. So.
Yeah, that's all the permanents. Okay, Rune wins.
All right, and that'll do it.
That was exciting, Marshall.
Yeah.
Thanks for.
Yeah, you're right. Look, it's not my fault. The other one took so long.
Yeah.
But we did get at least a glimpse of some of the other archetypes that we're going to be seeing as we move through the cube.
I like seeing Terracodon and Sundering Titan joining forces.
Yeah,
like
holding hands, rumbling into the red zone together.
Yeah.
It's not too bad. And also, though, a few other key cards that we see on the battlefield there that we can see. Thran Dynamo, Coalition Relic, and then some other ramp stuff like Fertile Ground.
Yep. So, I mean, those all work together pretty well. And it actually even looked like Rune used Garrick Relentless, flipped it, and then started tutoring for his big creatures.
Yeah, it does look like that. It's turned over, and it has 4 counters on it, so it looks like he got to ride the Garrick wave pretty well here.
Exactly.
So do we have, I think we maybe have an interview potentially that we're going to do. We've got a thing set up so that BDM can do interviews down in the feature match area. Do we have one of those? All right, we've got an interview set to go. So why don't we send it down there to BDM, and then when we come back, we'll talk more cube.
I'm here with reigning Magic Online champion Dmitry Budakov. Dmitry, we just watched you play a pretty intense match of Magic with your control deck there. I heard you were a little leery about how you played, though?
Yep, I made a couple of serious mistakes and just not feel right to play on the full strength now. But I think that match should give me time and reasons to think of my mistakes, and I should play better next ones.
So one of the things you've had a chance to do over this last year as the reigning champion is you played on the Pro Tour, you've played at a number of Grand Prix. How has your Magic Online experience translated to playing physical paper Magic?
You're playing the same game, so it's actually not a real different thing. But the stuff like shuffling, like searching your deck is really annoying because on Magic Online you have just to click it, and here you should search for 1 card out of 60.
Now, you said that there's some stuff you've had to learn, though, about playing paper Magic that maybe doesn't, besides shuffling, that's not just, that doesn't really happen on Magic Online.
In real Magic you're playing against a real person. In a Magic Online you see an opponent like just an obstacle. He has no face, no name, nothing, just nick. And here you're playing against a real man. You can talk with him, actually trying to understand him and something like that.
And is there a certain amount of, have you had to adjust your game in terms of how much information you give away when you're playing? Like if you're reacting to your cards, have you had to sort of become more still when you play?
I try to do that, but I think mathematics still stays the same. So it's using of psychology is tricky, and I didn't master it yet, and I doubt I will master it. So I just play the optimal way, as in Magic Online.
How have people on Magic Online regarded you since you became the champion? Have you had any kind of different experience with players in that arena?
No, I can't say so. Since I've been an ardent grinder before, most people of the Magic Online already knew me, so now I can say it changed a lot.
And what would it mean to you if you could become a two-time champion, aside from the money, obviously?
It would mean world to me, world championships. Second title, of course, is great and money, but the chance to play on the Players' Championship is my goal, of course.
Okay, well, there you have it. Dmitry Budakov looking to get back to the World Championship. For Dmitry Budakov, this is Brian David Marshall sending it back to the booth.
Thanks, BDM. All right, so we're back here in the booth. I got Luis Scott Vargas. I'm Marshall Steigley. Randy Bueller over in the red zone. Ah, there we are. That's Luis, Marshall. Randy's over in the red zone. And we are back here. So we're in San Francisco. We're covering the Magic Online Championship. So we're going to be watching this throughout the next 3 days. This is a 3-day event, similar to a Pro Tour where we have 2 big days and then just the final elimination round competitors in the last round. It's going to be a top 4.
Yeah, and the top 4 gets to play standard. So
that's right. And we're going to be seeing, for those of you that are just joining, we went over this a little earlier, but we actually have 4 different formats for this tournament, which is really cool. This isn't something that we get to see that often. I mean, Pro Tours are 2 formats, which I think is great. At least from a viewer perspective, it's fantastic. We get 4 here, though.
Yeah, which I think is awesome as a player and as a viewer. I mean, I've been on both sides and now a commentator. I think as a player, it's fun because it really is skill testing. I mean, it is the more formats you add, I think the more skill testing it is. There's obviously a limit.
Right.
10 different formats would be too many, and people would not have good decks. But 4 is within the realm of reasonability, where you can actually prepare well for all of them. And then as a viewer, it's obviously awesome to see people like play a bunch of different things, especially if you like one format more than the other. You can tune in for those formats you like more. And then as a commentator, it's fun to talk about all the different things that are going on. I mean, there's a lot of exciting things, and it's kind of funny because we actually got the deck list on Wednesday. And I look at the decks like, ooh, I can't wait to see these guys play. There's some cool things. Willie Ito actually mentioned that he's watching coverage all day today. You know, a bunch of different things. And I said, you're gonna like Modern, I think. So we'll see what that means.
He's just gonna sort of set that there and let you think about it. For now, though, we're in one of the 2 limited portions. We're in Cube Draft on Magic Online. So this is using the most recent version of the Magic Online Cube. As you know, cubes vary a lot. Right. Even on Magic Online, there's a few different versions.
Yeah, basically, you know, like Randy mentioned earlier, every time a new set comes out, they rotate a couple cards in and a couple cards out. So we end up with a slightly different cube every single time.
Okay. Okay. So we've got what we're going to do right now is we're going to take the stream down for about 5 to 10 minutes to address a few technical things. When we come back, though, we're going to have more cube for you, and we're going to be going into the modern rounds as well. So stick with us. 5 to 10 minutes for the stream. We'll be right back.